Pittsburgh, a city of lights, water, and at the center of it all, music. On Butler Street in Lawrenceville lies a hidden gem in the musical community, Thunderbird Cafe and Music Hall. At first glance, it might look like your ordinary bar, but underneath lies a huge concert hall where the magic truly shines. Since 1933, the initial building was still on the property, but at the time it was owned by Frank Michalski, and it was called Michalski's Cafe. Michalski's Cafe was granted the second liquor license in Pittsburgh after Prohibition. Unfortunately, there are no images from Michalski's Cafe, but there are photos of Butler Street in 1933. In 2000, Michalski's Cafe was bought out by John Pergel, an up-and-coming business owner.
He gave me a great deal on the place, and we turned it into the Thunderbird Cafe. And
in August of 2016, Thunderbird closes down for renovations that would last 3 years, reopening in July of 2019.
The Thunderbird held 200 up until the fall of 2018. We closed down and started this renovation. It took 3 years. We were open 6 months. COVID hit, we shut down. We reopened June of 2020.
As for the future plans of Thunderbird, John plans to just keep booking more music. Speaking of booking, marketing and booking manager Mara Mullen explains how shows get booked.
So there's a couple of different ways that we book shows here. We have an in-house talent buyer who works with different booking agencies that kind of we request who we want to play here. We kind of reach out to them. We also take submissions from agents or bands themselves. We also have like a booking submission form on our website. So if you're a local band and you're interested in playing here, you can always like fill that out. We get bands through social media DMs. There's a few different ways. We also work with like local promoters as well that come in and kind of like rent the venue for their own show. So every show is kind of a completely different booking process.
And finally, the heart of Thunderbird, the music. Plenty of bands perform at Thunderbird, and we were able to get to know one of them. Matt Jalbert, a guitarist for TAUK, explains how the band started.
Well, our band TAUK formed, you could say 10, 11 years ago when Isaac joined the band and he's the drummer, or you could say it formed 15, 20 years ago when I was growing up with Charlie and AC. We went to school together in Long Island, and we just grew up playing music together. And eventually got into high school, we started booking gigs in New York City, around Long Island, whatever we could do. And it just kind of naturally grew out of that. And we all went off to different colleges and kind of did our own thing, but we would always get back together during like Thanksgiving breaks or something and book a show, play a show. And when we all graduated, we were like, hey, let's hit the road. Let's see what we got here. And it kind of just kept snowballing after that. And here we are. We're still doing the same thing we were doing when we were like 13 years old. It's pretty cool.
With every band comes an origin story for the name.
The name TAUK comes from Montauk, which is pretty much the end of Long Island. So we all grew up in Long Island, and to be honest, the name doesn't really have too much of a significance for Montauk. It was just the kind of thing, I forget who was wearing the shirt, maybe Charlie or AC. They were wearing a Montauk t-shirt, and we were kind of coming up with a band name. And we were like, TAUK, that sounds cool. And that was that. And now it's kind of stuck with the band. And the funny thing about it is that it's called TAUK, and eventually we became an instrumental band. So it was kind of funny to have this band called TAUK, which is like talking, and then no one really says anything in the band. We play all this instrumental music. So it kind of became this funny thing. But now on this tour, we have a vocalist with us, Kanika Moore. So now it's a little bit different.
Matt describes the band as a hip-hop progressive rock band. If you would like to purchase tickets for a show, go to thunderbirdmusichall.com. Also, be sure to check out TAUK and Kanika Moore, or even buy tickets for their shows on talkband.com.